Hello and welcome back to the Buckle and Shackle 3D shop. Today I will be repairing my Bambu Lab A1 Mini and I have 4 problems. One is the purge wiper has broken. 2 is I need to replace the filament cutter inside. 3 is I have to add a new cover. And 4th is my problem from a while back. This piece here is broken, and every time the filament tries to cut, it makes a horrible noise because this piece here is not pushing in the filament cutter correctly. So I have the pieces right here. I'm going to replace them, and then once that's done, I'll also re-lubricate and oil the machine. Let's get started. First up, I'm going to remove the screw right here and then slide off the old purge wiper. And here, as you can see, the old one snapped off here and I lost the bottom part here. So I'll just take the new one and slide it back on and then screw this back in right here. The next item I'm going to replace is the filament cutter, and I'll have to remove this screw right here. Once you take out the screw, you'll see right here is the worn out filament cutter, and you just pull it out. I'll use this so I don't cut myself. And as you can see, this one is pretty worn out. You can almost see it's rounded off. So I'll just take the new piece and put it on. And then put this back in and screw back in the screw. Now that the filament cutter is screwed back in, we will take the filament cover. Mine broke right here and this part snapped off, so this new one, all you have to do is line up the tops and snap it in. There we go. For the next step, I will finally replace the X-axis motor cover. As you remember, this part here was broken. So now I'm just gonna snap off the cover here. And then I'm going to unscrew this screw and that screw. And once I have these screws taken off, I'm going to take off these 2 screws right here and here. Now that these 2 screws are taken off, we'll just take this part off, and we have one more screw right there that we will take off. Once we take off this screw, it is loose, but first we're going to remove the camera cable right here, and then we're going to pull this piece up and remove this cable. The camera cable is removed. Then underneath here we need to remove this clip. We'll place our hex key into the hole here and pry it out. And now this piece comes out. I'm still not able to remove this, so I'm actually going to remove all of these screws on the bottom of the 3D printer. And now that I have the cover off, I am going to remove the 3 cables that are attached here. And in order to do that, we do have to cut these zip ties here and here so we can free the USB cable, which is up here, which we will remove these 2 screws here, as well as the X-axis and the USB camera cables, which we'll remove here. And now I have cut the zip ties and removed the screws here. We are going to take the USB and take it out. And then we're going to take the X-axis motor and camera and unplug them. And now we have this piece free. Now we are going to slide this up and off. And now we're going to remove this by just popping it out. Just like this. And then next we have to figure out how to remove the cables. And in order to do that, we're going to have to take off this plastic piece and take off the mesh cover and this tape off of the wires. Now we have the X-axis cable free, and we have the camera cable free, which was taken out of the mesh. And now we can pull out the USB cable, but first we have to remove the magnetic shield here by popping up these 2 tabs. And I just pried them open with my fingernails, and the part comes off. And now we should be able to remove this cable from there. Next, we need to remove the filament connector right here. It just pops off. And then we have to take the camera out and place both of them into our new X-axis motor cover. So this part just pops out, and here is the old motor cover with the part that's broken. We're going to take the new one, and then we're going to pop in the filament connector, and then we're going to pop in the camera. There we go. Now we're going to do everything in reverse, and we should have a fixed X-axis motor cover. And now I've put everything back together. Now we just have to put on the motor cover. And here is the new X-axis motor cover. And now it works perfectly. Now the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some maintenance on the printer by lubing the rails. Now we'll just take the Bambu lubricant oil. You should have plenty of these if you have Bambu printers. You can also use super lube. I'm going to put a bead across this side and this side. Then I'm going to take my little swab and I'm going to move the oil all around as well on this side. And then I'm going to take a cotton swab and I'm going to just wipe off at the top so there's no oil on the metal part at the top. And then I'll move this forward and wipe the back. There's enough oil on this cotton swab still. And then just wipe the top. Then move the bed back and forth. And then I'm also going to do the same for the top here. Actually, I might put a little bit more here. And one side looks pretty dirty already, so I'll use the other side. And then put it on the bottom. Move this over and do the other side. And then wipe off the front of the linear rail and move this back and forth. Now the part that most people don't bother doing, but you really should, is lubricating the Z rail right here. This is the part that gets all gunked up with black grease. So you're gonna take another cotton swab. By the way, these are the cotton swabs that I use. And I'm going to just wipe it down. And then also this side. And then I'm going to move the rail up and then down and then swab it by taking off the excess. And then we're going to put on some new lubricant grease. And here I put some new grease on the swab, and I'm going to move it up and down the entire length. And then also move this up and then do this section. And then I'm going to plug it in and do a homing session so that it will move back and forth for me and lubricate the gears, the linear rod and the Z-axis thoroughly. So that is how you replace your X-axis motor. Pretty easy, isn't it? Thanks for watching. Please like and follow.